USO Shield. In 1943, Steve Rogers was given the super soldier serum developed by Abraham Erskine, turning him into a super soldier. Since he wasn't allowed to serve in World War II, he ended up doing tours around the United States to help fund the war. He was given a prop heater-shaped shield that was painted to resemble the American flag. Despite Steve mostly using it to hide his lines during the shows, the shield was made of metal and could be used to deflect bullets. After Bucky Barnes and his unit were captured by Hydra, Steve went on a rescue mission using the shield as a melee weapon to knock out Hydra soldiers. He managed to successfully raid the Hydra facility, freeing Barnes and the other captured Allied soldiers. However, Johann Schmidt, also known as Red Skull, managed to damage the shield with a single punch. Tesseract. During World War II, Hydra forces led by Johann Schmidt, an enhanced super soldier with a deformed face, invaded Norway, where he found the Tesseract hidden in a church. After many experiments on the cube, Hydra managed to create a small device capable of storing its power, allowing them to create and power many advanced weapons, including the Valkyrie super bomber. Red Skull launched the Valkyrie plane, planning to attack the United States and bomb heavily populated cities across the country. However, Steve Rogers got into the plane, forcing Red Skull to grab the Tesseract. Upon grabbing it, the cube opened a portal that transported him to Vormir, leaving the Tesseract to melt through the plane's floor and drop into the sea below. Vibranium Shield. After successfully freeing the Allied prisoners, Steve Rogers was allowed to join the front lines of World War II. Howard Stark then equipped him with a new gray shield, which was later painted to match his uniform. Made from the only supply of vibranium that the United States Army had, the shield was extremely durable, capable of deflecting energy blasts from Hydra's advanced weaponry. It also didn't lose momentum when thrown and could bounce off solid surfaces, either to come back to Rogers or to hit multiple targets at once. He used it as his main weapon during his raids on Hydra bases, until he crashed into the Atlantic Ocean with the Valkyrie bomber, leaving both him and the shield frozen in ice. In 2011, he was found and defrosted by S.H.I.E.L.D., later joining the Avengers to protect Earth from powerful threats. His shield was durable enough to withstand a strike from Mjolnir and deflect Iron Man's energy blasts, allowing Steve Rogers to pull off combination attacks with them. However, it was eventually broken by Thanos after it received multiple attacks from his double-edged sword. Following Thanos' defeat, Rogers traveled back to 1949 and came back as an elderly man with another shield that he gave to Sam Wilson. Titanium Arm. At the beginning of 1945, the Howling Commandos, led by Captain America, ambushed a Hydra speeding train to capture Arnim Zola. However, during the mission, Bucky Barnes ended up falling from the train, losing his left arm in the process. He was later retrieved by Hydra and brainwashed into becoming their personal weapon, known as the Winter Soldier. They also replaced his missing limb with a titanium arm that had the communist Red Star symbol on it. This arm was extremely powerful, capable of blocking bullets and easily snapping someone's neck. In 1951, Isaiah Bradley managed to destroy half of the metal arm when he fought the Winter Soldier during the Korean War. Hydra later repaired it, allowing him to easily catch Rogers' vibranium shield and even overpower him in hand-to-hand combat. After Tony learned that Bucky was behind the murder of his parents, he attacked him and destroyed his metal arm with a powerful blast of energy. Soviet Shield. During the Cold War, Alexei Shostakov was given the Soviet recreated serum, becoming the super soldier known as Red Guardian. He was even equipped with a red and silver shield that looked similar to the one Steve used. However, it was confiscated from him after he was betrayed by General Dreykov and imprisoned in the Seventh Circle prison. Despite the shield not appearing in the movies, we got to see more of it in the What If series. There, it was extremely durable, and Red Guardian was quite skilled at using it. When combined with his super soldier strength, the shield could be used as a projectile capable of knocking back a giant like Goliath. Hulk. In 2005, Bruce Banner attempted to recreate the super soldier serum using gamma radiation. To test it, he exposed his brain to gamma radiation, which turned him into a giant green monster called the Hulk. General Thaddeus Ross wanted to use the Hulk as a weapon for the US military, but Bruce refused. He was later recruited by S.H.I.E.L.D. to help them find the Tesseract and eventually fought alongside the Avengers to stop the Chitauri invasion. Despite the Hulk acting like a wild animal, he is able to use his environment to his advantage, destroy a giant Leviathan, and even create a powerful sonic shockwave. By being able to cross hundreds of meters in a single jump, he managed to travel from southeastern Brazil to Guatemala in a single night. He was durable enough to withstand any weapon thrown at him, including high-caliber bullets, alien tech, and Stark sonic cannon. Even the Hulkbuster armor, which was specifically made to fight the Hulk, still needed a distraction to take him down. On the rare occasion that he did take damage, his body healed extremely fast. Even as Bruce Banner, he could survive deadly injuries by transforming into the Hulk. But after experiencing one of the longest combos in mankind's history, the Hulk developed PTSD from Thanos and refused to come out throughout the events of Infinity War. Eventually, Bruce managed to merge his mind with Hulk's body, giving us Smart Hulk. Dual shields. Since Steve Rogers had given up his round shield to Tony Stark after their fight in Civil War, T'Challa provided him with a pair of black shields in preparation for the fight against Thanos' army. Captain America used the shields during the Battle of Wakanda, and since they were made of vibranium, they were able to withstand impacts that would break most other shields. They were smaller than his usual shield and more triangular, with incredibly sharp points that could be used to stab an enemy. Rogers used the shields to fight off numerous outriders. However, despite managing to hit Thanos multiple times with them, he failed to damage him and was eventually defeated. Vibranium arm. After the events of Civil War, Bucky Barnes went to Wakanda, where Shuri managed to remove the Hydra programming from his mind, allowing him to start his recovery in a village. Later, T'Challa gave Bucky a new vibranium prosthetic arm to join the fight against Thanos' forces and protect the Mind Stone. Despite him being no match for Thanos, the vibranium arm was still extremely strong and near indestructible, which allowed him to easily tear through metal, overpower other super soldiers, and even stop a moving armored vehicle. The arm was designed with a special mechanism that made it detach when pressed in a specific combination. It could also be ripped off by an opponent strong enough like Sentry. In December 2025, Nebula went to Earth to steal the vibranium arm and gave it to Rocket as a Christmas present, since Bucky had refused to sell it to him in Infinity War. Barnes later reacquired a vibranium arm and became a member of the New Avengers. Mjolnir. Mjolnir is the iconic war hammer of Thor, forged from Uru and enchanted to be carried only by the worthy. When 2014 Thanos came to the main MCU timeline, he was confronted by Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America. But despite their teamwork, the trio was overwhelmed by Thanos, which forced Captain America to pick up Mjolnir, revealing that he had been worthy of the mystical hammer all those years ago. He used the hammer in combination with his shield to get some hits on Thanos, and even performed a trick shot to give Thanos a powerful backshot. By swinging the hammer at high speeds, he managed to knock Thanos off his feet and summoned lightning to pin him down. However, that Mjolnir wasn't part of the main timeline. During the Avengers time heist, Thor took it from an alternate 2013. So, after Thanos and his army were defeated, Captain America time-traveled to return that Mjolnir, along with the 6 Infinity Stones, in order to prevent massive changes to the time-space continuum. The Goblin Glider. Even though I wouldn't really consider Green Goblin a super soldier, a lot of you guys were disappointed when I didn't mention him in my other video, so I'm including him. In another universe, Norman Osborn was attempting to recreate a performance enhancer for a military contract. Upon testing it on himself, he gained superhuman strength and agility, but since the enhancer was highly unstable, it created an alternative persona known as the Green Goblin. He used the Goblin Glider, an aerial device with sharp prongs that could slice through metal, as his primary method of transportation. He also stored pumpkin bombs on it, allowing him to access them at any time. The glider could be controlled remotely to either summon it or attack his enemies with it. Ironically, that was the cause of his death. While he was fighting Spider-Man, he ended up impaling himself with his own glider. After Doctor Strange's spell went wrong, he was pulled from the moment before his death and transported to the main MCU universe, U.S. Agent S.H.I.E.L.D., after John Walker, a former captain of the United States Army, injected himself with super soldier serum. He gained enhanced physical abilities that allowed him to go toe-to-toe with Bucky, and later started carrying a red and black shield as U.S. Agent. The shield was durable enough to block gunfire, turret fire, and direct hits from explosive arrows. Similar to Captain America's round shield, it could be used as a melee weapon in close range, or as a projectile capable of bouncing back to the user after being thrown. Despite Sentry bending the shield out of shape in his fight against the Thunderbolts, Walker chose to continue using it anyway.